Hi, my name is Paula Arenas, and today I'm going to be doing my validation video on how to give my patient a bed bath. So the first thing I'm going to do is state my 7 steps. First, we check the physician's orders. Then we wash our hands. We gather our materials. We identify the patient. We introduce ourselves to the patient. We explain the procedure we're going to be doing to the patient, and we always provide for privacy. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is raising the head up to working height. Lowering the side rails. And we need to take the bed sheet off, so we're going to cover the patient with the bath blanket. So I want to make sure I put my gloves on. And I would start with the patient's face. And the first thing we're going to be washing is the patient's eyes, and it goes from inner to outer. Right now the water would have no soap. I want to wash the patient's face. Patient's ears. And then we would pat dry. When washing the patient's face, and actually most of the patient's body, we want to make sure that we do it with different side of the towel, so that if one eye is contaminated with something, we don't give it to the other eye. Now we would go down to the patient's neck. Then I would take off the bed sheet and the patient's gown. Dispose of this in the dirty linens. Then we take out the patient's gown. Again, we would dispose this in dirty linens. Now we move on to the patient's arm, so we put on our towel underneath. Now we have soap and water. So we go from bottom of the hand up. And we do the supervised venous flow. And then we pat dry. And we would do the same thing on the other arm. Now we move on to the patient's chest. And we always want to try to provide for as much privacy as possible. And then down to the patient's stomach. If our patient was a female, we want to make sure that we go, or even male, we want to make sure that we go underneath the patient's breasts. And then we pat dry. Then we go down to the patient's legs. And again, we go up. And pat dry. And then we go up the thigh. Dry. And again, we would do the same thing on the other leg. Now we go down to the patient's foot. And we pat dry. And we would do the same thing on the other foot. Now this one we would do the back of the patient, so we would get new water and a new washcloth. So if the patient is able to do this by himself, then we would ask them to roll over to the side and hold on to the side rail. If they're unable to, then we would assist them. Ask the patient to hold on to the side rail. So now we start from the back of the neck and wash down. And then do the patient's buttocks. While doing on the patient's buttocks, we want to make sure that we go from the inside to the outside to make sure there's no contamination, no risk for infection. So then we would pat dry with a different towel. Now we would do the cranial again, we would change the water and then get a different washcloth. Try to provide as much privacy as possible, and we go from outer to inner. And again, we would pat dry. Then we would get, now that we're all done with the actual bed bath, we would get a different gown for the patient and a different bed sheet. And as we were doing the bed bath, we want to make sure that we're always assessing the patient's skin, make sure that there's no redness or any discoloration, anything that might cause us to be alert. So we would get this new gown. Now we'll be able to discard our gloves. And then we would get another bed sheet. Discard this in the dirty linens. Side rail up. Lower the patient's head to its lowest position. Make sure the patient is comfortable and that we leave the call bell close to them so they can reach us if they need us. And then we would document the time of the bed bath so that we can keep track of when it is needed. And that is it.